Welcome to Her None Matters, the podcast that dives headfirst into all things sex, pleasure, and empowerment. I'm Jody, your unapologetic guide to a more liberated sex life. Here we break down taboos, celebrate sexuality, and explore what it means to truly own your pleasure. So whether you're curious, kink-friendly, or just looking for ways to spice things up, you're in the right place. Now let's get to it.
Y'all know what I hate? I hate how we make it seem like the only people that need sexual education is teenagers. That don't make no sense whatsoever, considering the fact that we don't give teenagers sexual education. Like, I know very few people in life that received adequate, comprehensive sexual education. Like, they damn near had to be raised by an overly sexually liberated and sexually educated person in order for them to get a comprehensive understanding of sex that was not plagued with shame from religion and society and history and all of the other possible shit. And what's also crazy about that is that there are so many grown people, so many adults that because they didn't get that adequate sexual education and they just like took it at face value, they don't think that they need it now. Like, they think that they good. People clearly aren't good, because if people were good, there wouldn't be so many disparities when it comes to sexual satisfaction. There are a lot of people out here sexually unsatisfied, and it's not because they not fucking. I'm talking about the people that's doing some fucking. I'm not talking about the, like involuntarily celibate motherfuckers, the people that it's been a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. Oh my fucking God, I really hope y'all not going 5 years without fucking. I'm not gonna hold you. I hope nobody listening to this episode is going 5 years without fucking. And by fucking or having sex, I mean, sexually things that bring you pleasure. Like, you might just really want to like dry hump and kiss. Like, if that's your thing, cool. Like, if that's your version of sex, cool. It's not my version of sex, but do you, boo? I don't gotta fuck you. So this is what I will say. Sexual education is a human essential for all people that can speak and comprehend. Like, and I'm not saying comprehend well. You just got to be able to comprehend enough and speak enough when it comes to sex, right? Because some of y'all out here bad. The public school systems failed y'all. So, but it's not your fault. It's the system's fault. It's damn to them, right? But you here now. You listening to me. So we gonna work on it, right? We gonna figure it out together. But there needs to be age appropriate sexual conversations and sexual education for I would say going down to fucking 2-3 years old. You have to have those conversations, because that's when kids really learn how to talk. They learn how to start saying words and stuff like that. Like, they might be pulling on their little wang dangs and poking on their nipples. Kids do weird shit. So there should be conversations around the anatomy, right? And I'm not talking about, don't, like telling little boys that they have a penis and telling little girls that they have vulvas, and really having these conversations in an age appropriate way, right? Because when you are comfortable having these conversations, you can be honest, you can ask questions, you can, again, you want to be, like, we all want to be better than our parents and our grandparents, right? You don't ever want it to be in a situation where you as a parent, and I understand that everybody here is not parents, but you might be a big sister, a big cousin, an auntie, an uncle, and have to have a conversation with someone that is younger than you. And we have to be comfortable having these conversations, right? When we normalize these conversations, there's not a lot of room for shame. right? If we normalize having these conversations, there's also not a lot of room for hurt and neglect and abuse going unnoticed, because these conversations are being normalized, right? We're telling young children what is good touch and bad touch and consent and non-consent, and we're having these conversations and we're normalizing it, right? We have to get to a point where we can rip rape culture of its power. And the only thing that I can think of now, look, y'all some smart ass motherfuckers listening to me too. So if you got some other ideas, by all means, throw them at your girl. But I think the key to changing some of the sexual abuse and the things that we see, even on the lack of pleasure front, the lower sexual satisfaction rates, I think the key to that is normalizing the conversation around sex at all ages. Because a lot of the reason that, again, we feel shame is because we couldn't talk about things, or we couldn't ask things, or because of religion, or because of our parents, or for whatever fucking reason it was, right? Those healthy conversations were not normalized. But if we can normalize those, and then we can develop trust and develop healthy modes of communication around sex, then we can change a generation like that. And honestly, it has to be the millennials. Look, we got a lot of shit on our plate already. Guess what? No other generation, probably like our children, I feel like our generation of millennials are, paving the way, but it might not change until like our grandkids damn near. But I got hope because I definitely know that a lot of us millennials are challenging the status quo. We are challenging old ideas around sex, and we're challenging the systems in place. We're challenging those things. Sometimes you don't know how much work something needs until things are changed. And as much progress as we've made from I want to say in terms of the millennials, how much progress we've made in terms of mindset, we still know that there are laws being passed that are anti-abortion laws, and there are laws being clearly still have a ways to go. Roe versus Wade being overturned, like all of this shit that was created to decentralize female sexuality. And what's crazy about that is female sexuality was never centralized. So what the fuck are we doing? Like we're really working backwards here. And that's frustrating as fuck, honestly. So we still have some work to do. We still have a ways to go. And knowledge communication is the start of that, right? Because again, the more we normalize these conversations, the more we educate ourselves on a pleasure-centered version of sex. I think that's how we can get to a point further and our as sexual beings get to a more progressed and a more evolved space as sexual beings. I think that's the key. I know that's the key. I'm gonna say I know. I'm not gonna say I think. This is what the fuck I know. Like, I believe this in my fucking spirit. So it's not a thinking. Like, I'm not confused about this. This makes sense to me. So I'm gonna say it with conviction and certainty. That is the key. I think it's important as we continue to normalize these conversations, that everyone becomes a pleasure advocate. Advocating for yourselves, advocating for your pleasure. And when you advocate for your pleasure, you create a safe space for other people to do the exact same. And that's where I'm at with this. All right. So y'all know I switched it up. Now the show is referred to as Her Nut Matters. And the only other thing I want to leave you guys with is, don't forget to prioritize your pleasure, because when you prioritize your pleasure, you teach other people how to prioritize your pleasure, right? And that's why her name matters. So I want to thank y'all for, again, joining me on this journey to transform limiting beliefs to liberating ones, one night at a time. Make sure y'all are liking, subscribing, leaving motherfucking reviews. I know y'all like to rate the show, but please, please, please leave me a review. I have a praise kink. I love feedback. Just give it to me, all right? So make sure y'all doing that, and don't do that shit in my DMs. You don't have to send me a note. You don't have to exit the podcast app to go send me a DM on Instagram. I don't know why the fuck y'all be doing that. Please stop doing that. All right? Thank you. Just leave a review, leave a feedback right there on the podcast app. You're already there. What are we doing? Stop making life harder. Okay? Also, y'all know me and Terry is on tour with the Heart of South show. So make sure y'all are clicking the link in the description, or if you follow me on Instagram, click the link in my bio and you will see the different cities that we are going to. We have Philly on the schedule. We have New York on the schedule. We got DC on the schedule. We got Atlanta on the schedule, and we got Nashville on the schedule. We working on Houston. We working on Orlando. And we working on Charlotte. Be patient with us, y'all. We coming. We coming. All right? And that's all I got for y'all. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Her None Matters. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the pleasure with others. Follow us on Instagram at Her None Matters to stay updated on everything we have going on. Remember, pleasure is power. Go out there and own yours. Catch you next time.